How China's biggest scammer got caught? Apparently they caught me. Let's see. Mm.
You can.
Immunity audio levels are fine.
Police have been hunting this woman for 7 years. They're after her, but mostly they're after her computers.
Why? What'd she
Laptops may
do?
hold the keys to unlocking the story of one of the biggest scams in Chinese history.
Was that 1.5 million pounds?
Mostly, they're after her computers. Laptops that may hold the keys to unlocking the story of one of the biggest scams in Chinese.
It is 1.5 million pounds. No, that is 1.5 billion? That is 1.5 billion. Thousand, million, billion.
History.
What?
A cult of personality. Families torn apart. Marriages destroyed.
But imagine having that kind of money. 1.5 billion? 1.5 billion. That is so much money.
Life savings gone forever. And at the center of it all, her.
The mastermind of a
Can't even imagine.
$1 Bitcoin fraud.
Bitcoin
This is
fraud.
the story of an operation.
But every time Bitcoin comes up, I think about it. I'm like, dude, I wish I had some Bitcoin. I wish I just randomly held a Bitcoin from like back in the day when I was just doing random stuff on the internet. I wish, dude. My life would be so different if I just had one Bitcoin.
Deep within a ghost city, a daring escape, life and outrageous luxury, and dreams.
That's how a lot of people get caught, right? That's how a lot of these criminals get caught. They just start spending money like crazy. Like they go insane, start flaunting their wealth, and that's how like most of them get caught. That's a lot of criminals just brag about their crimes.
Their country.
Fern.
It's 8 o'clock in the morning in the Chinese province of Sichuan. For most people, the day begins like any other. But then the ground begins to rumble, and a 7-magnitude earthquake rocks the entire region. Almost 200 people are killed. More than 13,000 are injured. Across 18 prefectures, hundreds of thousands of homes.
But natural disasters are so sad.
News of the disaster quickly spreads around the world. Donations begin pouring in. The Chinese charity One Foundation announces that it will also accept donations in Bitcoin. In just 2 days, the organization receives a large number of Bitcoins, between 50 and 230, depending on the source.
Yo, that's nice.
In the weeks after the earthquake, Chinese state TV
Dude,
broadcast.
imagine having that amount of Bitcoin. One Bitcoin went up to what? $60,000?
Between 50.
230 Bitcoins. One Bitcoin was at one point $60,000. How much would that be? How much would that be? I'm curious. I have to look it up. Calculator. 60,000 not divided. Multiplied by 230. How much is that? $13 million. $13 million.
And 230, depending on the source.
At that point, obviously, it was
Chinese
lower.
State TV broadcasts programs about the cryptocurrency. A program called The Mysterious Bitcoin explains what it is, how it works, and its meteoric rise in worth. China Central Television, or CCTV, also airs an interview with a man who claims he made a 6-figure fortune through Bitcoin trading. He'll later become famous as China's first Bitcoin billionaire. Bitcoin has officially been around since 2009, but in China, most people are now hearing about it for the very first time.
I mean, yeah, tech existed for a long time, but people only
Bitcoin quickly starts gaining traction nationwide.
start talking about it recently.
China's main search engine, Baidu, begins accepting it as a payment method.
Interesting.
Soon after, so does the online shopping platform Taobao. Later on in 2013, 2 new Bitcoin exchanges.
More than currency, I see Bitcoin as like stocks, something that you invest in, it grows and you sell, but it's like more volatile than normal stocks, like more volatile than like small market cap stocks.
Emerge. In the months that follow, more and more people in China start buying the cryptocurrency. This sudden surge in demand pushes the global price even higher. and all the hype will turn out to be extremely convenient for one woman in particular. This is Zhimin Qian. Her biography is difficult to piece together. Our reconstruction is largely based on a detailed profile published by the Chinese magazine China Newsweek.
Interesting.
Right now, it's early 2014. Zhimin Qian is 36 years old and lives here in Tianjin, a sprawling metropolis with more than 11 million residents. The city was supposed to keep growing. There were plans for new office towers, luxury apartments, and a bustling financial district. One neighborhood was even expected to become China's new Manhattan. But construction stalls. Many buildings are left unfinished, and parts of Tianjin look abandoned. Some start calling it a ghost city.
Yeah.
Wages are low and
Wasn't that this whole thing about ghost cities? And then turned out they were just building infrastructure that people later bought and moved into.
Are rising fast.
I'm moving out of frame now.
In 2014, the country loosens its business registration rules to boost the economy. Entrepreneurs can now register their companies more quickly, and they need less startup capital.
That's
the
fun.
reforms lead to a massive startup boom. Across China, thousands of businesses are registered every day. But Qian is already a step ahead of everyone else. About a year ago, she and a couple of business partners founded a company, UBS International Group Limited Hong Kong.
Okay.
At the time, instead of a real name, she uses an alias, Li
Smart.
Xia. The business has partnered with a company that produces and distributes camellia oil.
Okay.
People in East Asia have been using it for things like skin and hair care for centuries. This is what Qian's business strategy allegedly looks like. UBS promotes the camellia oil and advertises group tours to the partner company's camellia production sites.
Interesting. Okay.
But to be able to actually buy the products, customers first need to purchase a membership. That costs 2,800 yuan. Members who recruit others qualify for extra benefits. It seems Qian herself is rarely seen at the office.
Isn't that how a metro works in India? You need a membership. I think Costco in America also works in a similar way. You have to have a membership to buy anything from there.
Day-to-day operations are reportedly handled by her employees. For a while, business seems to run smoothly. But in May 2013, the camellia oil company ends the partnership.
Why?
And about a month later, things get worse. The company website starts malfunctioning and third-party payment accounts are frozen. A little later, Qian sends her employees a text message. "Don't worry, I'm collecting money for us." Then police raid the company's headquarters.
Oh?
But Qian is nowhere to be found.
Oh, she took the money and fled?
Since making her escape, Qian has been extremely cautious. She reportedly even avoids taking the bus to keep authorities from tracking her movements.
Interesting.
Presumably, she'd have to show her ID when boarding public transportation. The
Ah.
UBS venture may have been little more than a way to experiment with different business strategies. She'll go on to use much of what she learned here in her later endeavors. And she already has a new idea. One that will forever change her life and the lives of countless others. Maybe you've had an idea recently, not one that would change countless lives. Description. Today's the day. Qian registers another company, Tianjin Lantian Gurei Electronic Technology. It's widely known as Lantian Gurei, which means blue sky.
She's like, my spider sense started tingling.
Qian seems to know exactly what she wants to sell and to whom. China's home to roughly 200 million
You watch enough YouTube, you can tell when it's coming.
elderly people. About 1 in 6 citizens is over 60, and many of them are lonely. In
True.
the past, families often had several children. Siblings could share their responsibilities.
So many countries are going through this. People are not having kids anymore. So there is a generation, there is a huge generation of old people who had kids, and those kids refuse to have more kids. So now there are countries like Korea that are actually facing a real threat of extinction because people just refuse to do it. Look at yourself, Yemen, yeah. And it comes down to the socio-economic situation, right? You can't just make people make kids. You have to provide a safe environment where people will want to have kids. People can't afford houses, they can't afford groceries, they can't afford school fees. Having a kid is like a conscious decision. You are like, okay, where do we live? Before having a kid, a lot of people wanna get a house. Okay, wait, let me tuck away the mint. A lot of people wanna buy a house before they have a kid. Yeah. Then they think about what school should they send their kid to, what is the fees in that school, and school fees nowadays is insane. And there is healthcare, pregnancy, how much would it take to deliver the baby, then take care of the baby. There are so many things to consider, and by just saying, hey, do it, won't make people actually have kids.
Ability of caring for the
Even this
parents and
mouse is dying.
grandparents.
Beautiful.
But in 1979, China introduced a one-child policy to help curb its rapid population growth. From that point forward, fewer children were born. Most parents had just one child, who often had to care for the family's older generations on their own.
Mhm.
At the same time, more and more younger people left their hometowns to study or work in major cities. As a result, many elderly people were left to live alone. In 2013, the government responded by introducing a new law. Adult children are now legally required to visit their parents frequently, and
I'm gonna make it a law that you guys are legally required to watch my streams.
be attentive to their emotional needs.
Anyone
For
can make a
Qian,
law now.
elderly people are the perfect target. She seems to understand exactly how to exploit their loneliness and their anxieties.
Mm-hmm.
Step by step, she begins building a manipulative business empire. Step 1. The front. Qian's company sells a range of health products. One is the Life Bracelet. It has an integrated GPS tracking chip, so
Oh, is it like
whoever wears
Fitbit?
it can supposedly be located within 15 meters of their current position.
That's
In an
useful,
emergency-
especially if you have a parent who's old and has like maybe dementia or something, and they start walking away. Maybe you're not around. Maybe you're just worried they'll walk away and you're not looking. That's useful.
An elderly person just has to press the red button and an ambulance will be with them within 10 minutes. The product taps directly into one of older people's biggest fears,
Mm-hmm.
being alone and helpless during a medical emergency. That helps build trust in Qian and her company. And if you trust a company with your health, you may eventually trust it with your savings too.
True.
Step 2.
A lot of business is just
plan.
building trust.
Qian isn't really trying to sell health products. To push her actual business model, she hires promoters all across China. Qian claims that Lantian Gure is mining Bitcoin, that it's setting up high-powered Bitcoin mines all across China to generate more crypto units.
Mm-hmm.
And for that, she needs money. Step 3. The promise. Qian is looking for investors. She probably uses WeChat to advertise and close deals.
Makes
Apparently,
sense.
investors can choose from special financial packages. These reportedly range from 30,000 to 60,000 yuan, or roughly 4,200 to 8,400
And the
dollars.
reason this would work is because the amount of FOMO people had in this era was insane, including me. When you see people selling the Bitcoin they had to become real life millionaires and billionaires, you're like, man, I also want Bitcoin.
The terms range from 12 to 30 months. Often, the funds aren't wired to Qian's firm directly. Instead, investors first transfer them to local promoters advertising the service, who then
That's
pass it on
smart.
to Qian. In return, she promises them daily dividends and a 200 to 600% profit for each contract.
I can't put my finger on it. But there is a very vague shape being formed here. I don't know what that shape is. I don't know what to call it.
Qian and her company seem to have been selling the idea of collective prosperity. Invest for just 3 years and you'll be able to secure the financial future of the next 3 generations of your family.
Mm-hmm.
Step 4. The scheme.
The scheme.
Qian skillfully rides the wave of Bitcoin frenzy. It helps that many of her investors aren't very financially literate. Her company produces glossy promotional videos promising a life of wealth.
So
and
Bitcoin is
luxury
such a
in the United
crazy
Kingdom.
concept that if you go to someone and ask them, hey, if I sent you back 10, 20 years, what would you do? The immediate answer most of the times is just, I'll get Bitcoin. I'll just get some Bitcoin, because that's all you need to do. Get some Bitcoin, sit on it till it hits the prices that it hit, like 50, 60,000, sell it, you're sorted, you know?
A country that carries a certain prestige in China.
一个属于光荣和梦想的国度。
That's like the ideal time to go back. Like, you know, if you have a time machine, go back like 20 years. That's all you need to do. Because if you go back like into 80s or 90s or like 60s, 70s, too inconvenient. Just go back 20 years. That's the best time to be.
Qian posts poems about social responsibility. We must love the elderly with the infatuation of a first romance. Poetry has always been an important part of Chinese traditional culture. Poems are meant to entertain and convey values like respect, family duty, and social order. Maybe that's why Qian's vision resonates with so many people.
Makes sense?
She also emphasizes that her company would help further China's goal of becoming a global leader in technology. She even claims that she'll one day donate the company to the Chinese government. Her patriotic
Very sweet
message
of her.
lands with investors. But one investor will later claim she deliberately exploited the patriotism of older Chinese citizens.
Yeah, no shit.
In reality, she went much further than that. It's autumn in Beijing. More than 1,000 people have gathered here today. Many have already invested in Qian's company, Lantian Gure. Others are still
But it's
considering.
always funny to me that as like a college graduate, if you have a startup idea, it is so hard to find investments. But all these scammers somehow manage to get funding from somewhere. Like they've managed to get funding in millions. How? Who knows?
But all of them are here to see the woman behind the business. So far, they know almost nothing about her, only that she reportedly holds a PhD in mathematics and cryptography, and that she works so hard she barely has time to sleep.
Just like me,
She
for real, for
rarely
real.
appears in public. She almost exclusively communicates through the poems she posts on her blog.
Poems.
There are barely any photos of her, and in most of them, her face is partially concealed.
They're
Even
also
today,
just like
she's
me.
wearing a veil.
I barely have any photos, dude.
Nobody here knows her real name.
It's so funny. In recent times, the only photos I have of myself is thumbnail faces. I don't think I've had any pictures of me taken in like a social context in so long. I just don't like being on camera like that.
Her investors call her Hua Hua, or Little Flower. Qian enters in a wheelchair. Her investors lift her above their heads and carry her toward the
Hey,
stage.
yo, chill.
They're chanting the company's promise, 3 generations of wealth. Events like this happen regularly, usually inside large, prestigious halls. Attendants usually aren't allowed to bring their phones or take photos or video, maybe because Qian wants to remain anonymous.
Makes sense.
After all, she's been trying to stay under the radar ever since fleeing Hefei.
Mm-hmm.
The gatherings are massive. There are dance performances, presentations, and speeches praising and vouching for the company. One speaker is the son-in-law of Mao Zedong, the late founding father of the People's Republic.
Mm-hmm.
Mao remains a deeply respected figure in China, especially among older generations. The atmosphere at these promotional events is frenetic. One investor will later tell The Observer that people were captivated by Qian as soon as she opened her mouth. After her speeches, people would battle their way to the front with their credit cards ready. Another investor says, that bunch of promoters, they'd take something red and persuade you it was white, take something black and convince you it was red. Apparently, there were also private meetings with Qian. Those who invested more than $800,000 were reportedly invited to more intimate events. One attendee says everyone in the room was starstruck. They saw her as their goddess of wealth.
You can hear it.
Over time, more and more people pour money into Qian's growing business empire. Public servants, school teachers, widows, and retirees. They're all hoping crypto will turn their modest life savings into a fortune.
That's the thing, dude. So many people got scammed in this era because people did not understand anything, but they just heard Bitcoin. They saw people getting rich through Bitcoin in the news, and they were like, you know what? I also want Bitcoin.
Most are between 50 and 75 years old. By 2017, Qian has attracted more than 128,000 investors across China and collected more than 40 billion yuan, roughly $6.1 billion. But she hasn't been keeping her promise to use their money to create new crypto tokens in her mining farms. Back in 2014, she used an associate's name to open an account on the Huobi cryptocurrency exchange, which today is called HTX, and she transferred investors' money into that account.
Did she do the
exchanging it for
FTX thing?
Bitcoin. At first, her investors receive exactly what they were promised: daily dividends. Anyone who recruits friends or relatives gets even more. One investor would tell the BBC he and his wife were receiving 100 yuan a day, roughly $14. They were so hooked, they directly reinvested this into the company and kept borrowing to
That's so dumb, dude. Just take out the money. The plastic gun from Carnival's, yes.
One investor would
Oh,
later
no, what
say he
happened?
never suspected a thing. After a few years of this, some investors were invited to visit the company's Bitcoin mines, and the trip inspired some of them to
No.
invest even more money. Hundreds of investors have traveled from Shenyang and other cities to Tianjin.
What I did to
The
get?
outskirts of the city are lined with warehouse after warehouse. One was built on a vacant lot. On the front is the slogan, Tianjin Blue Sky Gure Bitcoin Warehouse. This must be it. But when the investors go inside, none of the mining machines are working. An employee tells them the company intentionally turned them off to avoid exposing them to radiation.
Dude, she put so much effort into this scam. If she put even half of it into an actual business, she would also be successful. Like such an elaborate scheme to run a scam, and just should have just put it into a legitimate business. She would still be successful.
Most of the investors don't question the explanation. One even leaves the site visit so convinced she decides to invest significantly more money. It's only years later that some investors begin to suspect the machines they saw were actually worthless junk. According to reports, they were eventually sold as scrap for 30 yuan apiece. For 3 years, Qian's operation appears to run smoothly. New investors keep joining, and their money funds payouts for existing members. But in 2017, Chinese authorities finally get suspicious and launch an investigation.
Nah, dude, that's when you, as soon as it gets successful, you leave. You leave and then you go to you go to a country where they don't have an extradition policy with China or something. I don't know. Why would you still be there? You know.
The Bitcoin hype
Yes,
is
feels
reaching
dumb.
fever pitch, at least among the Chinese public. By now, the country has become one of the largest cryptocurrency markets in the world. But Bitcoin and other digital currencies are also used for criminal activities like money laundering, drug trafficking, and smuggling.
True.
They're a risk to financial stability, and they undermine government control over the fiscal system.
That is
So
also true.
Chinese authorities want to crack down on them. They plan to tighten control over Bitcoin mining and trading.
Mm-hmm.
From there, they start closing in on Qian's company. Today, the authorities strike a coordinated blow. Raids take place across
Oh,
Tianjin.
2017.
Lan Tiangure's employees are rounded up, but there's no trace of their boss. Qian has likely been preparing her escape for months. She purchased several forged passports, including one from a Caribbean microstate, and is traveling under a new alias, Yadi Zhang. She also transferred her bitcoins from the Huobi exchange into several private
Makes
crypto
sense.
wallets. The wallets are stored locally on her laptop.
Makes sense.
But as with any cryptocurrency, they don't contain the actual bitcoins, just the digital keys needed to prove ownership and access them. At this point, Qian's wallets hold about 70,000 bitcoins.
Sell them. Why didn't she liquidate it? I mean, yeah, as soon as you liquidate it, it becomes traceable. So makes sense, I guess. But then again, if the market crashes, what do you do?
Almost $400 million. It remains unclear whether Qian knew the raid was coming, and if she did, who might have tipped her off. Maybe she bribed a corrupt official.
With that amount of money, she obviously just bribed off a bunch of
Either
people. I
way,
think.
she's on the run for several months, apparently moving from China to Myanmar, Thailand, Laos, and Malaysia. According to London's Metropolitan Police, she eventually boards a first-class flight from Kuala Lumpur to London. On September 16, 2017, she arrives at Heathrow Airport. She isn't
Interesting.
carrying any luggage or her laptop. She moves into a mansion in London's affluent Hampstead neighborhood. The rent is more than £17,000 a month.
Hey,
She
yo.
also opens an account with Harrods, one of the world's most exclusive department stores. Over the following months, she spends more than £90,000 on designer
Why would you do that? Just lay low, no?
jewelry and clothing. She travels across Europe too, but she carefully avoids countries that have extradition treaties with China.
That's what I was saying.
She keeps
Smart.
attracting people and getting them to break the law for her.
Dude, you did it. You made hundreds of millions. Just retire at this point. I mean, I guess if you do something at that scale, you're just doing it for the love of the game at that point. You're just hooked on scamming people.
Just a few weeks after arriving in London, Qian meets a woman named Zhan Wen.
Mm-hmm.
Wen is 37 and works at a Chinese takeaway. The two get along well. Before long, Wen moves into Qian's mansion. Officially, she's Qian's caretaker.
Okay.
In reality, she also becomes her trusted accomplice. For
Mm-hmm.
example, Qian sends her to Thailand to retrieve the laptop she abandoned on her way to the UK. Once Qian
Oh.
can access her bitcoins again, the two start spending some serious money.
They would just message about like going to buy jewelry, right? Like, we've had a stressful day. They didn't really say that, but like, once we're done with this, let's cash out the Bitcoin. Let's go to Jewelry Street, right? And then the other message was like, obsessed with jewelry.
This is Aisha Down, a journalist
Mhm.
with The Guardian. She investigated the story. Wen will later tell the courts that Qian spent most of her time in bed, playing video games and shopping online.
Yeah, just do
As
that.
Bitcoin's value keeps rocketing, she seems to be achieving what she once promised her clients, getting rich lying down. She isn't afraid to dream big either. In her diary, she documents her bold plans for the years to come. Qian wants to found her own bank, buy a castle in Sweden, and build
Give me that kind of money, dude. You'll never see me again. Trust me. I'm moving. I'm moving to a small country, changing my name. She's too far gone now. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, I'm going to a small country. I'll have money for the rest of my life. I'm chilling. I'm eating, sleeping, playing every day. You know, with no worry. I'm just chilling for the rest of my life. I have enough money. You know.
a relationship with a British duke. She also dreams of becoming Queen of Liberland, a small stretch of land between Croatia and Serbia right along the Danube River. The territory isn't officially recognized as a micronation, but its inhabitants consider it an independent republic with democratic elections. Qian has ambitious plans for the 7 square
Delusional. That's not just ambitious. Those are delusional plans.
kilometer region. She wants to build a harbor, an airport, and the world's largest Buddhist temple. In Liberland, Qian would find herself among like-minded people. Its self-proclaimed prime minister is the controversial crypto billionaire Justin Sun, who founded his own blockchain network. He also controls the Huobi crypto exchange, where Qian used to store her bitcoins. In her
Very beautiful.
imagination, becoming a monarch will entitle her to a diplomatic passport and immunity from prosecution. She even sets aside
You know who else will give you that? If you just invest millions into a small country, they will legit just give you diplomatic immunity. Because to them, the prosperity of their country matters more than extradition treaty with a different country. You know?
a budget of £5 million to buy herself a crown and scepter.
Isn't there? I forgot what country it is. There is a country where you can just, if you just invest enough money, they'll give you a citizenship of their country. You know, if you invest enough in any country, they'll give you a residence. They'll give you a residence permit, at least, if not a citizenship. She has the money to do all that.
The sky's the limit. She also dreams of the Dalai Lama anointing her a reincarnated goddess. But for now, Qian is still here in London, living in a rented house. Among other things, she claims to run a successful jewelry business. To fund her lifestyle, she converts bitcoins to regular currency, but large deposits would probably make her bank suspicious, so she has to conceal where the money really comes from. In other words, she needs to launder it. And one of the oldest tricks in the book is real estate, so she plans to
True.
buy expensive properties to turn her dirty money into seemingly legitimate assets. Qian and Wen start looking for the right London luxury home. They make 3 attempts to buy multi-million-pound properties. The most expensive is listed at $23.5 million. But their efforts are hampered by their difficulties converting enough bitcoins into cash, and
Makes
by
sense.
British anti-money laundering regulations and their so-called know your customer questions. Questions like these are designed to detect money laundering schemes.
But they have like really, so I did study money laundering in UK while I was in UK. The money they are very keen on money laundering. I don't know why. They're just very like focused on money laundering. Like if they ever want to catch, like whenever they go after like organized crime, right? I had the teacher who was teaching me about financial crimes, and they were like, whenever whenever you want to go after like drug dealers and like organized crime and stuff, we don't look for drugs. We look at their account. We look at their accounting. We look at their balance sheet, and we see if they're money laundering. Money laundering is one of the main ways that they catch organized crime. And they were like, if you are in possession of money that is subject to the money laundering, you are also counted as an accomplice. Your experience when I was doing my masters. I mean, I guess I kind of had a little bit of experience because I was doing like a mentorship, but not like with the police. Well, why would they trust? Why would they trust an international student with their police work? That's not happening. What if I'm a spy? What if I'm a Durandar 4?
The first round of scrutiny often comes from the real estate agent, the second from the bank. Apparently, Wen's answers to these questions are unconvincing.
My learning experience, I kind of had it actually. I kind of had it. There was someone who reached out to me and they were like, hey, I think it was like a old school friend. They reached out to me and they were like, hey, I'm going to send you this money. I want you to send, you can keep like 10% and send the rest to this person. And they're like, why? Why do you want me to keep 10%? And they're like, I'm just saying, like, you can keep 10% and send the rest to the other person. Like, and then I thought about it and then it clicked. I'm like, are you using me to launder money? Are you insane? You want me to be an accomplice in your money laundering scheme? Excuse me? They're like, hey, if you want to, you can. If you don't want to, then you just say you don't want to. I'm like, yeah, I don't want to. Leave me alone, please. Thank you. So I could have become a part of a hawala business, a money laundering business. But I didn't wanna. I was like, dude, with my luck and RNG, I'm 110% getting caught. The entire money laundering circle is getting caught as soon as I join. I know my luck stat. I know my luck stat. I know my RNG.
And realtors and lawyers reject her bids to buy the properties. Shortly after, London's Metropolitan Police
Metropolitan Police is their like central police.
tipped off about a suspicious bank account.
It's like
The
the
money in it
CBI
is
kind
believed
of.
to come from criminal activity. The officers decide to take a closer look. Once they have the necessary court orders, they gain access
Feeling
to
a
the
little right now,
account,
going money
and their
nice.
suspicion grows. With reasonable grounds to suspect that the money is dirty, they freeze the account. They also send an email to the account holder. It's Wen. By now, investigators are closing in on her. They know where she lives,
They love
Just
going after money laundering
waiting
cases.
for a search warrant. When they finally enter the house, they find two people, Wen and an unknown woman. Lying in bed, she claims her
Whoop.
name is Yadi Zhang. The officers have no idea who they're really talking to.
So you don't normally live here?
Yeah.
And where are you from? Where is your country?
Anyways,
I think they believed that she was a sick relative and not the mastermind of a multi-billion-dollar Bitcoin fraud.
As they raid the house, the officers find 300,000 pounds in cash and
Hey,
checks.
yo.
They also seize laptops, memory cards, and a large amount of paperwork. But for the time being, neither of the women is arrested. The police search the confiscated computers and find that they contain several crypto wallets. But accessing the wallets and the cryptocurrency they contain requires the correct encryption keys. In the course of their investigation, the Metropolitan Police eventually obtain them. They find over 71,000 bitcoins
They
stored
didn't
inside
sell
the
any of
wallets.
them?
It's the largest Bitcoin seizure in British history, but it isn't Chin's entire fortune. In August 2020, police returned to her house for a second raid, but this time, she isn't there. She's gone missing again.
When was the last time you spoke to her?
a few months ago.
If she had been here today, I would have arrested her.
This time, there's just Wen. The
Is it
investigation
man
takes
so windy? So windy.
course, and 2 years later, she's arrested and charged with money laundering. In 2024, she's sentenced to 6 years and 8 months in prison.
Oof.
After parting ways with Wen, the fugitive Qian moves into an
Hope she got paid enough for that. He hope she had made enough money.
inconspicuous townhouse in York. Several employees work for her illegally, taking care of her everyday needs. Everyone in the house has to follow a strict set of rules.
Mhm.
Staff isn't allowed to use Bluetooth or phones from Chinese brands. They're
Makes
limited
sense.
to only certain social media platforms. They can't disclose the house's address or even log into its Wi-Fi network. And they're strictly forbidden from taking photos or videos of Qian. All these requirements are neatly laid out in confidentiality agreements later obtained by the Metropolitan Police.
Oof.
Anyone who breaks the rules faces hefty financial penalties and will be fired on the spot. At some point, Qian also seeks the help of a Malaysian national named Seng Hock Ling.
Mm-hmm.
According to Ling himself, the two first met in Germany in 2019. He'll later testify he believed Qian was a legitimate businesswoman. But Qian plans to use him to once again launder money. British
I mean, yeah.
authorities have seized most
She
of her
has to launder all
bitcoins,
that money.
but
She
she
can't
still
use it
controls
without
other
laundering
crypto
it.
wallets worth around 62 million pounds. She gives Ling money to purchase properties in Dubai in her behalf. But Ling is closely following Wen's criminal trial.
Oh.
By now, he knows that both women have been involved in criminal activity, and maybe he's beginning to realize that he's much more involved in their schemes than he'd like.
Oh,
One day,
interesting.
he starts Googling February 2024. For 6 years, Metropolitan Police investigators have been monitoring Qian's crypto wallets.
Oh.
The bitcoins inside them are now worth roughly 1.5 billion pounds. In all these years, there hasn't been a single transaction,
Oof.
no indication that Qian has touched her fortune. Until now. She just transferred 8.2 bitcoins to another exchange account. The account is registered in Ling's name, and the investigators embark on a manhunt. They want to know whether Ling and Qian are in touch. The trail leads them to Scotland and northern England. Then one day, Qian suddenly appears on surveillance cameras.
Ooh, hello.
By now, they're convinced Ling is working for her. They could move in right now, but there can't be any loose ends this time. They
True.
need airtight proof that Qian's bitcoins are tied directly to the fraud case in China. They want to know for sure where exactly the bitcoins came from.
Mm-hmm.
A blockchain specialist helps them follow the money through its transaction history to see who received the bitcoins when. Chinese
It's just a matter of going through all the Bitcoin transaction logs, right? Because every single transaction is logged. So you have to like go through, okay, this wallet, this wallet, this wallet, this wallet, this wallet, this wallet. It just takes a lot of time.
authorities provide them with a list of bank accounts connected to the scam.
Mm-hmm.
The investors Qian deceived are said to have deposited money into 294 different Chinese bank accounts. They received payouts from 48 different accounts.
Okay.
With that information, investigators re-examine the electronic devices they seized in their first raid. And voila, many of the account numbers provided by the Chinese authorities also appear on the confiscated laptops.
Mm-hmm.
Now the connection is clear, and Qian is directly linked to the fraud in China. At last, a judge gives the Metropolitan Police the green light. Qian hears something. There's someone inside the house. Moments later, someone kicks in the door to her room.
Ooh.
After 7 years on the run, they finally found her.
You're under arrest. You're going to be arrested for money laundering, Section 329, Proceeds of Crime Act.
And this time, there's nowhere left to go.
She didn't spend any of that money. Everything got
Qian and
seized.
Ling's trial ends today. The hearing is public, but the courtroom
But I
is
was so mad. Like, yes, she did a crime. She should go to jail. Everything. I'm just saying, like, if you consider from her perspective for a bit, like, dude, she had so much money. Didn't even spend like 1% of it. I think everything got seized.
so small.
I wonder what happened to all
only a
that seized
handful
money,
could
actually.
fit inside.
I sat on the floor at one point. There wasn't a lot of room.
Aisha is one of the few journalists in the room. She followed the last days of the trial for The Guardian.
It was just a fairly sober atmosphere.
Chin sits inside a glass dock. From the public gallery, it's difficult to get a good look at her.
Mm-hmm.
Throughout the proceedings, she doesn't say a word. Everything she wants to say, she communicates through her lawyer.
Why is she inside a
remained largely
box?
silent when the police questioned her too. Her only statement was that she was the victim of false allegations made by the Chinese authorities. She also felt that she would die soon, and that this had been her last chance to spend some money.
The thing I noticed was that the defense's statements really didn't land at all. And the defense sort of spoke briefly in the last day of the proceedings, you know, talking about how their client had been a model prisoner.
Jin's lawyer later claims that she and her company only ever wanted to help people accumulate wealth. But the reality is different. Some of her investors ended up in poverty. One tells the BBC that he sometimes had so little money left he would have to survive on a single pack of instant noodles for 15 days.
Ooh.
Another says Chin's scheme destroyed his marriage and led to him being estranged from his son.
Makes sense.
Others say they contemplated suicide.
Sad.
Ling is sentenced to 4 years and 11 months in prison. Qian gets 11
Wait,
years
he's
and 8 months.
It
That's not
seemed
that different.
like, from my impression of her, that she maybe had hoped things would go a little differently. She
With the magnitude, the difference in magnitude of the crimes, the sentencing is not that different.
burst into
And
tears.
6 years,
or it
11
looked like she
years.
was bursting into tears. It looked like she was upset by the verdict.
After the ruling, Chin's lawyer emails a statement to the press. Bitcoin pioneer Ms. Qin, once the world's largest female BTC holder, accepts her conviction and the mistakes that led to it. Many of her former investors feel betrayed, and some demand compensation. In China,
Rightfully
some
so.
investors appeal to the Supreme People's Court, the State Council, and other national institutions, not to condemn Qin's actions, but to ask for an explanation as to why her company was shut down.
Okay.
One still sees Qin as the goddess of the crypto world. He would die for her, and he wishes she'd return. We tried to speak to some of the investors for this video, but almost everyone we contacted turned down our interview requests.
Whoop.
Only one woman agreed to talk, but she had a condition. We had to promise that we'd help her get her money back.
How can a YouTube account
Apparently,
make
a
you
few people
get your
did.
money back, dude?
This
What?
article says Chinese authorities used confiscated assets from Qin's company to compensate some former investors. They received a small percentage of the money they put in. But it remains unclear whether all the victims in China will ever recover their investments.
Yeah,
First, they
unlikely.
have to prove that they actually invested in Qin's company. And that may be difficult since many deposits weren't sent directly to her, but to the accounts of local promoters operating on
Yeah.
her behalf. For now,
I don't
seized
think that's
assets
going to be
remain
that
frozen in
easy.
the UK. British law classifies them as recoverable amounts, meaning authorities must first determine whether victims are really entitled to compensation. Only then can the state touch the money.
Makes sense.
Decisions on the applications are expected later on in 2026. Who knows? Maybe some of Qin's investors will get rich after all.
Sad, dude. Sad. Good she got caught though.